Hi guys, it's Borkson. Hello and welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you've been here before. So guys, today is going to be a really fun video. I want to do a video, I think we're going to call it Summers of My Youth. I'm going to sit down and tell you guys some of the funny things that me and my clique did. I'm not even going to use the word friends. I don't think most of those people were my friends I grew up with. I had a few friends, but I really didn't have many friends growing up. I had like one group of friends that lived around the corner from me. And then I had a couple group of sister friends. I usually hung out with sisters, to be honest with you guys. But the summer between 6th and 7th grade was really, really weird. Okay. I do promise this stuff did happen. I'll be honest with you guys, I think me and my friends were trying to mock the Sandlot because some of the stuff we did get the idea from the Sandlot. I mean, some of this, like us playing baseball outside of my house. Like, um, I'm not gonna put the blame. Dad bought me a baseball because I like to hug it, to be honest. I like sports stuff. To a degree, like I like mascots from sports teams. That's actually something I still like and I kept from that era. And we were having fun, guys. We were ballpark of 11, 12. Let's see, 5. We were 12. Yeah. We were 12. Sorry, we were 12. Some of these really weird summers even happened prior to that, but some of the ones that stick out is like, and I was so scared for 7th grade for some reason. I don't know why. It ended up being probably one of my better years before all the heck hit the fan and all in school. So anyway, guys, I went to play baseball, so I routed up some neighborhood girls. And Mom's just lucky I didn't route up some neighborhood boys because, well, I don't like it in my neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah, no, I did. Guys, I'll kind of explain. My youth is kind of funny. There's pieces in my memory also I think there's missing from my personal problems in life. But I want to talk about the guys. We had a lot of bad times, but I want to talk about some of the good times. I mean, guys, at one point there was 9 of us girls getting together, and the older brothers, I think they were egging us on. The older brothers, they were doing some weird stuff, and we were. I think some of the stuff we did, we flat out just mimicked the things that. Because go, guys, let me explain. My group of friends, right? A lot of my friends, we had older brothers that were all the same age. And I don't like to big the boys up too much because some of them are not even. It's a sin. Some of my friends' brothers aren't even with us anymore. It's sad. Anyway, so we were siblings about roughly about the same age, just opposite gender. So the girls are my friends, the boys are my brothers. So I'll admit some of this stuff we were getting from the brothers. We were just mocking what they were doing at our ages. And we heard their stories from the great things that they did, and we wanted to join in. Maybe we wanted to be like the boys. So anyway, I'm taking you guys back to summer 2003. I discovered Sandlot, which was the beginning of the oh heck moment for my girl group. Okay. And I told my friends, they're like, oh, yeah, like we'll give it a try. And I brought all of the girls over to watch the Sandlot in my house with my parents. And I mean, there was 9 of us. Oh goodness gracious, my poor father. But he was a good hostess. He said, okay, we can do this in shifts. So I brought like quite a few sets of sisters, guys. There was like 3 or 4 sets of sisters. Me, who was like the pushy, like I gotta. No, I was in the space, but I was the nerd and I was the nerd slash energetic run in a group. Like I can still sometimes get so much energy that I have to like run and like run around like a road runner to get some of it out. So it is what it is, you guys. And sometimes some girls would join us, sometimes other sets. So I had a lot of like people that I knew. And I would say none of them were really friends per se, other than maybe a couple of the girls. And there was brother and sister sets that I was friends with both of them. And then there was an older brother that was about 3 years older than us. So anyway, guys, there was another set of siblings in my neighborhood. I didn't want to cough on camera, guys. Who then it's not on camera either. The brother and sister twins were my age, and the older brother was a couple years older than me. This guy comes into the story later on. It's ridiculous. Like, what were we doing? Okay. Anyway, guys, so me and my friends decided to get baseball bats and play baseball with gloves and mitts and everything outside. So I went for my older brother's stuff. I didn't take anything without getting consent, of course. So yeah, whatever. No, they're not in their baseball days anymore. So I was like, I want to play baseball. I actually wanted to marry a baseball player. I got older and actual professional, but I'm not gonna say who. I didn't do the video yet. Anywho, imagine a young girl who discovers Marty York and gets. First off, I couldn't find anything on the actor. Yes, I had to think Marty York in my youth. I couldn't find anything on him at the time very much other than his work, he was in Boy Meets World, whatever. So I got really into it. I was like, I'm gonna have fun with my friends. So we started like running around. I don't even remember names for each other, but who the heck knows what they were? We're our 30s. I did contact with some of those girls still, but none of us are friends. We're on the same boat, so let's call ourselves friends, but none of us are friends. And I would some of the stuff, guys, that we were doing was honestly, I think, very borderlining on it being illegal at the time. Then is definitely illegal and could even be considered words that are not allowed to say on YouTube too. It starts with an H. It starts with a S. There's an H. It starts with an S that you can't say on YouTube. Definitely starts with an H. Anywho, guys, we were having girly fun. We really weren't bad kids. It's not like we were doing anything too bad. I mean, guys, looking back on, I'm gonna be honest. I think I was the lookout. In the group, I was the one with the glasses, obviously visually impaired, and that got us into a lot of problems. My eye rolling. Because I only took my other promise. I'm not picking. I get people to this day who still accuse me of, aren't you old enough? Especially now, you're past 30. You should not be rolling your eyes as an adult. First off, guys, as another adult, I see myself as an equal with you now. I'm 30 years old. I'm an adult myself. I used to get in trouble a lot for my eyes rolling. I have nystagmus. Same thing. I have eye disabilities. I cannot help when my eyes roll. And I'm giving people the heads up. Look, I'm like, I can't help that either. So my neck goes up. I can't help it. Anywho, we would play baseball in the lot next door to my house, an empty lot. The first off was somebody else's property. I was trespassing on it, and now this was the 2000s. So, and my animals, we even buried my animals in that lot. So I wanted to make it into a sandlot. And then there was also one around the corner from me too that was torn down. So we'd go over there sometimes too. And then one up around the corner that way, and then one around the corner this way. So we hung out in all like the dirt lots. And you guys would think this would be cool, right? No. Guys, there was a group of boys who used to like to pick on us. I've been meaning to do a video on him for many, many years. Some of his abuse is still in my mind. There was a pack of boys. Now, this is the issue. They were not kind. They would come over knowing that, first off, the lot was right next to my house. So my family and I would just, and my mom was right there watching us, like we were 12. I mean, we were 12. We were 12. But my mom was watching us, and we just wanted her to go in the house so we could talk about boys. Oh, yeah, we had baseball bats, we had baseballs, we had gloves. We would even sometimes just talk about boys and just talk about life in general. And this is where things get a little weird. The boys that hung out across from us, they were not kind. And there were fights and there was arguments, and they would actually come over and hit us. I mean, it came down to the point a couple of times where my dad is sitting and watching TV, and like his chair is right by the door to the exit in that house versus the other house where it was in it was still in the living room like it was in the old house, but it's a different chair. Dad's chair was right by the door when you walk in. He said he wanted his chair right by the door because his neighborhood wasn't all that safe. And my dad hears me screaming out, "Papa, Papa." And he's like, "What is this?" Smack, bang, bang. So my dad comes out, and there's a group of boys hitting us girls. Feel like punching us like we're boys. And my dad comes out. A guy can admit my dad was an intimidating man in his day. Like he was your typical Greek-looking, intimidating-looking man. Like a typical Italian-looking, Italian-looking, Greek-looking, intimidating man. Which is funny that according to our DNA, we don't have a drop of Greek blood, which is, I think we are partially Greek. And this, as I've been told my whole life, this Colombian man. Hold on. Anyway, guys, so my dad comes down, and these boys are like whacking on us. So my dad tells them off. My dad goes and tells my mom. The police were called several times. This is where my fear of police comes from. The police did not care. Anyway, guys. We hung out. We did a lot of things. We played baseball. We'd sit in the We want to be baseball players. We were really just mocking the Sandlot, I think, between them and our older brothers. We were just mocking the guys. So we would go to the pool in our bathing suits, and I had my. This is gonna be a long video, guys. So kiss popcorn. I had my Fairly Odd Parents blanket, like towel, beach towel. I still have that in my childhood home. I used it at the beach. I used it at the pool. I had a cute little one piece little bathing suit on. Me and my friends are walking there. And we're in the pool. We're having fun. And I'm talking to other girls. And lo and behold, my mother shows up. She wants to make sure we're there. And my mom said, Borkson and her friends, every single last one is, come over. Everyone who came here who knows Borkson, get over here. And we all come over in like a typical pushy mom that they were in the 90s. As I say, guys, I think in the 90s we had the tail end of the moms that really gave a crap. My mom sat all of us down and said, if any one of you make a move at the lifeguard, I know why, because we were talking about it. There was a hot young teenage lifeguard boy. Oh man, we got that straight from the Sandlot. I'll admit. My mom's looking at us going, I know all of your mom looks and says, I'm your mother. Friends say, I know every one of your mothers. That if I heard any one of you's ever even attempted this, we're all gonna come next time. We're all gonna yell at you. So we're like, oh goodness, mom. Because that happened a couple of times where we all got, every single last one of us got yelled at by our mothers. So we're all standing there like all our parents are standing off the side. We're like, we come over. Like it was so fun. Like some of these girls even say how much fun we had being yelled at by our mothers and by our sisters. One of my friends, her sister yelled at us, like we were crazy. We were silly eyes. Anywho, the lifeguard even said, ma'am, those girls are being very nice, especially the one there. And then my mom, like, comes over one of the times and says, hey, you forgot your glasses. You're not supposed to leave. I'm like, well, Mom, I don't want to wear my glasses in the pool. So then put them with your stuff. Your doctor said you need them. And I was like, you say this to the people know. But I still wear glasses to this day, so it's fine. Oh my gosh. So that was funny, right? We were talking about one of us trying to make out with lifeguard dudes if multiple of us could try it with different ones. We're girls. Anyway, guys, so we used to go to the Chinese buffet, a Chinese restaurant where all you can eat as long as you eat everything we eat. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is where we really embarrassed our moms, okay? Okay, first off, I always had at least one friend that tried to weasel out of her part of the bill. There was like 9 of us, and there was always one of us. Sometimes there was 4. We went multiple times, you guys. And I remember I said, okay, guys, we got to call our moms. Like, we don't have enough to pay for this. We did. I actually think some of my friends were dining and dashing while I was paying the bill. Like, I think that's what was happening. Now that I'm older, yeah. Yep, that's what was happening. Anyway, so I'm on the phone with my dad. I'm like, hey, Dad, yeah, can you come? And like, my dad's like, sure, I'll come. I'll pay for all y'all. Like, come all you guys. My dad never said, well, I'll pay for all you guys. So we would do that. We go to Wendy's sometimes at our heated games and trying to play baseball. And guys, this is only summer 1. There was 3 summers. So it was only summer 8th, 9th, and 9th. No, there was 2 summers of this stuff. Guys, so we're starting to get older. So we're starting to get more creative about things we want to do. So we started going to the carnivals, and this is where things start going a little willy, a little side silly. I used to like playing in carnivals. Yeah, that is a story for probably another time. Okay, because I mean, guys, at this point, let's see, so by summer 7th to 8th, summer between 8th, no, this is 7th, this was, oh, hold on, guys, I'm losing track. So the tail end of that was when we were 12, so it's like the summer between 7th to 8th before we go to 8th, before we go to the summer between 6th and 7th, before we go to 7th and 8th. Oh, wait, hold on, I'm confused at this point. So guys, yeah, me and my friends used to go to the stores. We used to walk around. I remember we were only like 11, so we didn't get to do too much. Anyway, guys, so school goes back. Yeah. We'll be doing okay. Next summer, we start getting more intense. I mean, things start getting sillier. We're 12 at this next stage, so we're getting older, and we're little girls, and we're getting older, and we're still going to like want to play baseball outside. And my dad's like, okay, well, this might just be a phase. Maybe she watched The Sandlot too much. Whatever. We're gonna go along with this adorable phase while it lasts. I actually started playing. So this is summer of going into. This is so let's see, so 12. This was going to be going into 7th grade. I don't know at this point, guys. So we're Hold on, guys. I don't know. Guys, I'm not even track for the summers in because at this point, I think I'm just losing track. These stories are starting to blur, guys. I'm 34. These stories are starting to blur. Anyway, note 11, which was. Oh, guys, it just keeps interrupting me because it just keeps coming up. I'm going to do count. Okay, guys, so we start. Next summer comes around. We're starting to get more and more bold at this point, and things are just starting to get really, really funny. Okay. So going into 8th grade, that was a really fun summer too. Going into 8th grade, but the first part of story was going into 6th. Now we're going into 7th, so we're like 12 at this point. So we start doing the same kind of thing where we're hanging out, we're going to Wendy's, we're trying to talk to boys, and they're on there for and so have you. Same kind of crap. And this time we're outside and. Okay, so yeah, so some of the stuff we were doing, like, it wasn't just in the summer. We would try to play ball, like, from, like, March to, like, November, depending on when it got cold. But we also were that was just an excuse for us to hang out and talk like girls. And so we would hang out. 7th grade ended up being a lot of fun. I was in Sunday school. My parents put me in this to church program stuff. I was okay with it. I actually liked it. This is where things started to get a pivotal moment. I meet a boy, of course. We've talked about Scotty already on this channel before. I meet Scotty, and my whole world pivots. But this is after summer, so when school starts up again. Because we're doing the same thing. Like, we're going out as girls, I'm playing baseball. And, we're just being girls. We wanted to play soccer. We would also play skating. We did a lot of, like, skates outside, too. But I actually fell and hit my hip a few times. It hit my spinal cord. My dad had to come out and carry me. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. This isn't, like, the fun we had as 90s kids playing outside. This is, like, the tail end of kids doing this. And then I went back to school in 7th grade. And a boy named Scott. And awakening of adulthood sort of took her. And I was like, I don't know how to handle this. And I was like, outside playing baseball with my friends, running the ball back and forth. We would just play catch outside, and I was like, my mind was 50 million miles away. And they're like, "What is up with you and this Alan and this Scott? Like, why? And we're playing ball, and your mind's on these two boys." Alan lived a few neighborhoods. He was in the same neighborhood. He was actually, I think Alan. Fun fact, was actually in the current neighborhood I live in. So Alan was a couple neighborhoods over, not current, where, my house is, my childhood home. So Alan was actually pretty far away from where we lived. I didn't realize how far he actually lived. So Alan lived in the neighborhood that you guys know of my childhood home. I'm not going to say it for my own protection. He lived by that house, I think, is where he lived by, closer to that house than this one. But the thing is, I've seen him more when I lived there than when I seen him at my other house. So anyway, it was very confusing. I call my house. I don't mean the one I like was a little itty bitty, and I mean like the one that I inherited when my father passed. So I would go up there and I would try to find Ellen. Oh goodness gracious! Oh goodness! My parents would watch this video from heaven, but I was very close to my dad. My dad knew everything. I told Dad everything. I mean, Dad would buy my baseballs for me. Dad even bought me a bat. Dad tried to buy me I wanted to play. Me and my friends one time wanted to learn how to skateboard. Goodness gracious, Dad tried to buy me a skateboard. We used to ride our bikes together too. And then we were starting to get older, so we started riding our bikes to the toy store back and forth. My mom would panic and then call 911, call the police, and she was like, I can't find my kid, and I don't know where she's at. And the police at this point, I think they started to get a little annoyed. They were like, okay, what does she look like? Okay, ma'am, we'll find her, whatever. But guys, that's the thing. I'm scared crapless of police. Like, I don't respect the cops. I'm scared of them. I will run. Don't even nowadays, if I'm sitting in the car, they're coming up, like, even at the end, I'm sitting in Mr. Car, they come up, I will There's been a few times, guys, I'm not going to say what I almost did because I was so afraid of them. My mom was a police lover. She would call the police for everything. She would also use the police as like a way to keep us kids good, but it wasn't the way to do it. So anyway, guys, I developed a thing for a guy named Scotty, which they were about the same time. So anyway, I know where Scott used to live. I have an area pinned down to the point where my parents actually had to have I believe they had I don't know if, now this is my speculation because I was so young. I believe my parents had like a theory between the two of them. What would happen if I was showing up at Scott's dad's house? Because Scott's parents they divorced when he was like really young, like 10, 12, something like that. No, I think it was younger than it was like 10, 11, 12, somewhere down the ballpark. Scott's parents broke up. Not my business, not my problem. Discuss online. Anywho, my parents had a call out for if Scott's father would get a call from me, or I would show up at, and I don't even remember his last name, and I wouldn't even use the right one online if I did anyway. And my parents told me, do not bother Mr. his last name. And he was probably, I would say if we were 10, he had to be 30 easy, 30, 40, 45 easy. And from looking, I would, from what I've seen of him, now basing back, which I don't really remember, I think he was about 45 at the time. And my parents said, he is a grown man. You have to respect his privacy. He is a grown man. We know you have a thing for his son, but you cannot show up at his door. I think my parents did have a protocol in case I would, because I had friends that were daring me to do really bold things. So one day, one of my friends says, you have Scott's dad's address, because Scott lived in another state. He moved away, but he came over the weekends to visit his dad. And I was like, I think I know someone who knows Scott's address. And they were like, my parents were thick on this. Like, they knew, they were 3 steps ahead of Bordickson the whole time. And they're like, why don't you go to the house and go knock on his dad's door and introduce yourself? And I was like, I wanted to anyway, but my friends saying it, we were starting to get plans to go basically bother Mr. I don't even know the guy's name. Yeah. And I was like, let's go do this. And I was like, I want to meet my future father-in-law. Let's go find him. And they were like, and this guy's like 45 years old. So imagine if you're a 45-year-old dude, maybe 40, I don't even think he was more than that. His mom looked young even. You know, at the door, knocking, and it's a bunch of little girls. And I would be, today, this would happen, I would have been my pants out. I would have been like, I'm done. So I'm glad that we never actually got to Scott's dad's house, but we were trying to. Okay, guys, so that's 7th, and then 8th is where we're starting to get a little more bold. Turning 13, we're doing more things. We're starting to have more arguments among the group, and there's a guy that I liked who lived a couple blocks over. And this is where things started to really hit the fan with this particular group, because I liked him. He was a few years older than me, and I was like, you're too young for him. And I was like, well, you guys, I'm not trying to put parallels between me and my friends and the guys from the Sandlot, but the parallels were definitely there, and we were drawing them. So we were like, why don't we go over to the store? And now I think back on it, guys, I think I know what happened. It dawned on me today what happened. Oh, goodness, 20 years later, it dawned on me. 20, I'm 34, 24, and we were like 13. 21 years later, almost it dawned on me what happened. I was the lookout, I think. I think they were doing things when I don't know, I'm going to admit online what I think they were doing. Okay, and I'm there. And at this point, at the same time as Alan and Scott thing, I developed a crush on the neighbor guy. Goodness gracious, ain't this true, guys? And there was 3 of them, so we're going to talk about all 3. Okay, so I started developing a crush on him, and I'm not going to say his name because it's a very common name. I'm not going to say it on here because his mom was really nice to my mom, so was his aunt. They ran a little family store, and I liked the brothers. And one brother was my age, one brother was a little bit older. I preferred the one a little older. He was nice to me. The one that was my age was a little mean to me. And when he found out about Scott, he's the one who told Scott a bunch of stuff. So I was like, he told Scott, he told Alan, who's he going to tell this one to? And he came up to me and said, he said, I know why you keep coming by. He said, I can't believe it. Scotty's leftover wants to date me. And I'm like 13 at the time. I'm like, when he's like 12, I'm like, he says, I know you want to go out with me, but since you like my friend, I could never go out with you. And I was like, okay, I don't like you, but alright. So eventually I admitted to him. I said, do you think I like you? And that's like he come to your family store. He was like, yes, I like your brother. He went, what? I mean, he was already teasing me about it, so he knew I liked him. I said, I don't like you. I like your older brother. You like my brother? I was like, yeah. Because him and his twin sister kept teasing me about it. So I admitted, I was like, yeah, I do. So take the power away. But guys, I had an ingenious idea to go into the store and try to kiss him. I was 13. I would have been in a lot of trouble because this family was close to my family, and he went to school with my cousins and all family members. So they knew us. And I gotta say, the aunt caught on very early. I don't know if my mom tipped her off or she tipped my mother off, but the two of them were on to me. And they said, Brooks and your friend, I think they must have, my mom must have been calling there to ask her. And she said, yeah, well, let you know, Brooks and her friends are here. Like, they're a whole group of them. Like 9 of them are here. And she's like, oh, goodness gracious. Like, goodness gracious, that's right, it was Dad's expression. That's where I get it from. I got a lot of good dad jokes, but I want to keep this PG. Anyway, so my dad was like, I'm going to drive down and go get those girls. At least some of them, because I don't want to see these girls getting hurt. But guys, we also went to ride the L and try to talk to guys. My friend's dad, who was like an uncle to me, said, honey, I don't want you girls doing that. That's how broken R word. My dad did the same thing, and they were like, all the dads are trying to come back. Because we had a lot of silly ideas that would have gotten us R worded very easily. And you guys know what you know. You know what I'm talking about. And I was after this. So I was 13. So he was like 16, 17. So he was borderlining on being legal. And don't worry, guys. Years later, I confessed to him everything. I sung like a canary when I was 18. I went to the store. The store went a little bit after the uncle passed away. But I used to like to go in and I used to talk to him. And he even noticed I used to bring my baby doll. Those that would have been playing baseball holding a baby doll under her arm. I had my baby doll with me everywhere. I caught a little everywhere with me. And I was 13 and I was still doing this. So it was a little weird. To think of a little girl holding a doll wants to make out with you was a little weird. But alright, guys. So I tried that stunt. My parents, I don't know, I was going to say to this day, I don't know if they know if they're going now. As of last year, I don't know if my father even knew this was even in the plan of what I was trying to do. Anyway, so I don't think my parents even knew until I was 17 that was my actual plan. And anyway, later on, there's another boy from the store. I think my friends were using me to flirt with him. And we're going to get into him later because he's from a later summer. I think they were doing things that were unethical in the store and hitting the stores that I had crushes on the workers. They hit the store. I think that I had a crush on the owner's nephew, and then that's what they were doing. That's what I think happened. They seen, because my friends were like, oh, there goes Brookson's lover boy. There goes Brookson's lover boy, and I'm like, he's fine, he's gorgeous. And they were like, no, there's the lover boy. They're like, glorious lover boy, and I was like, oh, my future husband. And I think they were doing that because they were doing things that were unethical while I was flirting with him, and he ended up being pretty cute later on. He ended up having his ears stretched, but he joined the army, parents from the army and everything, so he ended up fine. Okay, now we're going down to when we're getting a little older at this point. So summer of 8th and 9th grade, when things we're not really getting along at this point. Everybody's fighting, people are starting to move away, we're not really getting along anymore. I'm still after the guy in the family corner store. I mean, things are just gone. I was after him till I was like 16, guys. So that isn't a light crush. I was after him for years. I had made jokes I was going to go with my friend's cousin Alan. I mean, the whole thing was just, we were getting too mature, and some of my friends were fast, and I'm not that way. But I hung out with two sisters. I hung out with the two sisters probably the longest, who their sister lived next to me, and they were actually pretty cool. I liked them. I actually would be friends with them today if I met them. And the girl around the corner and the other girl around the corner, I'd be friends with them for today if I could. But they were actually some of the good ones in the group. So like the 5 of us would have been a good group, and then the girl next door too, their sister-in-law. So they were like the good ones. I call them. They were the good ones. They're the ones that were really good friends with. Like and then there was a couple sisters too. We were all. A couple of us would fight together though. Like we were walking down the street. I think this is when we were 13 into 14. This is 14. This one was 14. We're walking down. No, it couldn't be 14 because the sisters moved away. I know they moved away right after that summer. We're walking down the street, right? About 9 of us. 2, 4, 6. Me make 7. There was a very big group of us. I think like 9 of. Like I said, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I was like the only one in the group who didn't have a sister in the group. And then there was 2 other girls. So there was about 11 of us at one point. All in all, there was 11 of us all together. I think 10, 9, somewhere. Like I said, there was 9 of us all together. We were a pretty good group though. We were hanging out. We're coming back once again at the pool, making jokes about making out with lifeguards. But now we got the hormones behind us, and we're getting older, and we're like, oh, I want to go grab a lifeguard dude. And, oh my goodness gracious, guys. For the record, some of my friends actually ended up being non-binary and LGBTQA. Some of us weren't, most of us weren't, but some of us were. I'm personally not. I guess I'm a straight cis woman. I'm proud of it, but whatever. So we're there, and I don't know what we're saying about making out with lifeguards. Nobody record. None of us were silly as Squints was in Sandlot. None of us actually went along with. None of us actually did it. We were just all talking about it. So what was I gonna say? Yeah. So we're 14 at this point, and yeah, and we're walking home from the beach, and we got from the beach. What the heck works? And we're walking home from the we never made it to the beach. We used to go to church, and we used to go to the pools. Walking home from either church or the pool, we used to go to the kids club. I think it was the pool. And these Italian boys came up to us. I mean, they were even speaking the language. That's how I knew they were Italian. Some of us were American Italians in the group, and I was the only one who understood a word. If you guys don't know, my father's native language was Italian. His mother spoke this version of Italian. You know, that was my father's native language. That's the language my dad grew up hearing, and along with English as well. So we're standing there, and these boys come up to us, and they're not speaking a word of English, blah, 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 in Italian. And they're saying words that I recognize, that I know are slang, that are curse words, that are calling us basically words that I can't repeat on YouTube if I could, for people of a certain nationality and people who SWs, basically. And you know what you know. If you know, you know. You don't, you don't. Anyway, these boys are talking away 50 miles an hour in Italian, which is my father's native language. So I'm like, would they just call me? Because he looked right at me and was like, basically, are you the leader? But he said it in English. Are you the leader of the group? And I was like, we don't have a leader. So then he started switching off to Italian, and he was going back and forth, I guess, to try to confuse us, these boys. And there was like 4 of them, so we're girls, so we're like, what the heck do we do? So I said, takes one to know one. When he had said something about, and he'd come up trash talking us, like, your mom is this, your mom is that, your mom is, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, you guys, this is just our luck. And I said back to them, takes one to know one, maybe you were a bunch of. And they stood there, and all of my so-called friends were very, very, very impressed. They said, Borkson, what did he just say? I said, don't mind what he just said. I said, is he speaking Spanish? So I said, Espanol, like he's speaking Spanish. They said no, and I said, okay, and I said, speak Italian. Speaking Italian. Guys, remember, my Italian's now starting to break, as my dad's been hearing one in a couple of years. And, the only words also in Italian I learned first were words that these guys are saying, because I picked up the curse words from anything else. And I said back, yeah, I said in clear English, why are you attacking a pack of girls? Okay. And one of the boys swung at us, and the mother's hearing this, okay? The mother's hearing this, and it looks like the backhand us, and the mother's hearing this and says, in perfect English, what are you boys doing? She said, leave those girls alone, because I had a mixed group of friends, and we were very nationality mixed. Did we have any Latinas? I don't think we did, but they moved away. We had everybody in the group, and we're just standing here, and he's like cursing us out, calling us everything. But that was funny, you know. So my so-called friends were saying to their mothers, like, some group of boys jumped down and started cursing at us, and Borkson started talking in Spanish back to them, and they were like, no freaking way, Borkson? Because I'm the timid one. I'm always squinting, trying to see something, holding something close to my eyes. I'm squinting, trying to see something. And they're like, Borkson, the one that runs around like he's on, I'm hyper. And they were like, the hyper girl did it. They went, yeah, Borkson. She didn't, them. She went right at them. So they cursed at them in Italian. And I figured out I was speaking Italian. They went, I said, well, I didn't know in Italian. I fill in with English or Spanish. And the people were pretty impressed by that. And even their moms were like, that girl is good. Anyway, guys, so this story is going to end. This is over 30 minutes long. So I'm going to upload another video to kind of counteract this one. So, guys, and then Mike. Oh, goodness gracious. Mike's the story of another day. We got older. The original group pretty much broke up. I had some people from the original group. We formed another group. And we're once again at the carnival. And, I mean, I at this point was pretty much broken up from the group. And then I was seeing them there. And I liked the boy who, there was one boy named I liked, but I used to, follow him around. And he was cute. He was a really skinny, tall, lanky guy. He was cute. And I seen him and I followed him out to his car with his parents. And I was not supervised, and I followed him to his car. Who cares? I was there, I was having fun. I've gone on the carnival for myself before, and I got in trouble, but when it was brought to my parents' attention, my dad said, yeah, I don't remember his name, but I know what boy you're talking about. My mom was like, this is totally off left field. Where's her boyfriend at? My boyfriend didn't come with me. I was basically by myself at the carnival, and it was fine. But, yeah, because my boyfriend was working that day. So I went to the carnival myself, and I seen him, and my parents were informed. My dad said, yes, I know about him. I've known about him for a while. She used to like him. It's fine. He's harmless. Whatever, he's a teen boy. Yep, and the boy around the corner used to, that's the one that got us in a lot of trouble. I think my friends were doing things, and I was at the store. And funny thing is, I actually met to him years later. When I talked to him, I'm not going to call him Justin for this point. To talk to Justin, and it was fine with him. I think he thought I was a little slow, I was the energetic. He kind of admitted to me, he thought I was the energetic one, with the, maybe mental slow a little. So he didn't say I was slow. He said he thought that I was a little energetic, to talk fast, and I'd run around, and I'm always squinting. I'm trying to look at something. I'm a nerd. He kind of said he kind of thought I was the nerd group. I said, well, I'm visually impaired. And then I apologized for being a nuisance. I said, look, if I ever bothered you back then, I said, I'm so sorry. When we were 16, he said, we're about the same age. And I said to myself, look, it's maybe a little weird, Justin. I said, I was crush on you, and that's why I was so weird. I said, I was always energetic. You just see me with the group of girls. I was energetic. I'm the one that would walk, oh, yeah, look, there goes Borkson. As I'm, walking, I'll walk right to a wall, and break my glasses off my face, and I have an astigmatism, so I don't see. So he actually was later on said, you really do seem like a nice girl. And I'm like, yeah, every guy says that after a while. Okay. But anyway, guys, yeah, the guy who used to work at the neighborhood store, the one that had worked at the family neighborhood store, convenience store, I admitted it to him in the end. We were 18, and he said, he took one look at me, so I look so much more mature. And then they said, well, where's your parents? Where's your mom and dad? And I was like, well, mom died, dad's in the car. And I said, can I tell you something really embarrassing? I said, what? And I said, why I kept coming in the store when I was young, so sometimes I sound a little weird. And I told him, I said, I could crush on you. I said, that's why I kept coming in, so I kept bringing my friends around. And I even said, if my friends did anything, because I was flirting with you. And I apologized. And he was like, you were flirting with me, and you're coming back years later, and apologizing. I was weird, guys. I'm still weird with dudes. Okay, guys, this one was a 40-minute long video. But remember to comment, like, share, subscribe. Go hit that bell for post notifications. And if you guys want to hear more of these summer story times, not summer's coming, remember to tell me down below. Bye-bye, guys.